I'm not dealing with any misinformation. I'm not dealing with people taking concepts and trying to twist them into what they want it to be. We have to start reacting and dealing on truth and facts. And the facts is, reparations is not about individual checks for people. If people want reparations, if they really want to repair a nation, then first of all, have a nation to repair. Form one.
But instead of that, you would concur with the slam of the questions that I asked, that most of the people who are asking for reparations want integration, not sovereignty.
Right, which means that they are totally off base by even asking for reparations. If your goal is to be integrated into the same society with the person that enslaved you and persecuted you to begin with, then reparations? All you're going to do, if they were to give out individual checks in America, as a matter of fact, I always said, if I was a white man, I would give out the checks. Because with every check that goes out, there's a social security number attached to it. And then when you try to come up with discrimination and racism, I'm going to go through my files, go and find your check number and say, nigga, didn't you get paid?
I thought you were going to say that that you would, if you were a white man, you would give us reparations
in the form of individual checks, like everybody wants. Because you know what will happen?
Because we spend it within the system and keep giving it back.
There you go. That's what would happen. So if I was white people, I would give out because think about it. The Federal Reserve was printing out $1 trillion a day to make the banks whole during this pandemic. If you listen to the Federal Reserve chair, he said they can literally print as much money as they want because they control their own money supply. So they have it. It's not like they're gonna go broke. They can pay black people whatever a minimal amount they think, and once they do that, then it's over. Because what's going to be your next after the money is gone and you've given it back to white people? What's your next move? Because the guilt thing ain't going to work. You got a check cut for yourself.
Well, according to some who propose reparations, they believe that reparations would be more than just a check. It would be
I've heard that
intergenerational programs that are largely based around affirmative action and other sorts of things that are designed to close the wealth gap between black people and white people.
And when I hear that, what goes through my mind as I hear you explaining how they feel about that, Greg Anthony falling down and the basketball going out of bounds. That is so weak. It's weak.
Well, you mentioned, about the nationalism issue. I remember, and I don't recall if it was exactly on the show about the militant integrationists, but it could have been another show. You had mentioned that nationalism is usually the natural response to a people who are under siege and oppression. And but somehow this doesn't seem to be the case for the group that's identified as African Americans in terms of that being the natural response. Why is that, or have you already addressed that? Why is nationalism not the response?
I think I did address it because there's two factors. One, 500 years almost of propaganda and anti-African negative stuff. You know what I'm saying? And there's a percentage. See, white people could never keep us in this position by themselves. So they know as long as you pay a certain percentage or you keep that carrot dangling in front of people, it kind of pacifies everybody else, because then the issue it doesn't become about overturning the system or establishing your own. it becomes, how can I be like that dude? So as long as they keep some people paid, keep some people looking good and looking pretty, like, the pimp does his top hoe, and lets her parade in the street looking good so that everybody go, oh, damn. Then, and also the most important part, the voices that they should be listening to, they can't even hear. Because they can't get a mainstream microphone. They can't get broadcast across the nation and across the world. If you don't hear these like the stuff that we're talking about right now, you will never hear on mainstream black talking head radio, television, or anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
You would never hear it.
Right.
Because we're not talking about getting in where we fit in and trying to be equal with white people or any of this woke nonsense. What we basically talking about is power.
Right. And as you said in some of your opening remarks, you said that the militant integrationists don't really want power. They want to be controlled as opposed to being in control.
Bottom line. And I defy anybody to tell me different. If you're not a nationalist, if you don't believe that we should have socioeconomic and political control over a piece of territory where we control policy on that territory, then tell me how you're not an integrationist. You're not somebody who feels that somebody else should control you. Tell me how you're not.
Right. They won't be able to.